everyone, this is Jamie Limade, the dietitian at the JCC St. Louis, and here you guys are in my kitchen for a cooking demo. Today we are going to make fajitas, but with a little twist. So usually you'll have either rice or tortillas as that kind of carbohydrate base for fajitas, but today we're going to make it with quinoa. And for the veggies, obviously we're going to have some fajita veggies with the tri-colored bell peppers and then also some red onion. And then for the protein mix, we are going to do some shrimp. So for some reason in the grocery stores I haven't seen much chicken or beef. They've pretty much been sold out, so I'm just using what I have in my freezer, and that is some shrimp. So we're going to get started with the quinoa. And I have in my cabinet, I always have this, it's just boil in a bag quinoa. Very cheap, very easy to use. As you can see, it is just an easy bag. It has about, it says 2 servings in here. I probably made it to about 3 servings. And I already have some boiling right here in 4 cups of water. And the directions on the box says 10 minutes. So we'll go 10 minutes of boiling on here. And next up, we're going to use the veggies and start cutting them up. So I'm going to have you guys come on in very closely, and I'm going to chop them right up here. So we have 3 different types of colors of the bell peppers. We have orange, red, and green. And funny thing about the bell peppers, so the orange, red, and then also the yellow ones are more expensive than the green ones. So if you're looking to do this a little bit cheaper, try to get more of the green peppers, and you might save a little more money. So we're going to do all of that. We're going to chop these up. And then we're also going to use a half of a red onion. You can use any kind of onion you want. This is just one I had on hand, and it also saw in a recipe that it called for red onions. So we're just going to use this. I'm going to speed this up so you guys can see the whole chopping process, but I'm going to make it really quick. Okay, here you guys can see that it is all chopped up, and I always recommend to do a little bit more of a longer chop. So I just went from the top of the pepper all the way down, and then for the onions just kind of went around and just did a finer one that kind of resembles the peppers. So we're going to put all of this in a saute pan, and I'm going to move this out just a little bit, that way we can see everything right here. So here we have the vegetables, and we're just going to put this in a saute pan, and we're just going to heat it up to about medium to medium-high heat. And I always use a cooking spray. I like olive oil just because I like it a little bit more. It has a little bit more monounsaturated fats in it than any other kind of cooking spray or cooking oils. So I'm going to use this one, spray it down really nicely, add all the veggies in. And again, this looks like a lot of vegetables, but this will cook down a little bit more. And if you have a little bit extra, you can always use it for another dinner or for leftovers at lunch or something like that. So while this cooks down, I'm actually going to help out with that process by keeping all that steam in there. And since I don't have a lid for this pan, I'm actually going to use another pan and place it right on top, just like this. Just be careful not to bump it or anything because it's not as sturdy as a normal lid, but this should help cook it down a little bit faster. This is cooking. I took off the quinoa, I put it in here, and this is 1 serving of that bag. So definitely it has a lot in there. So if you guys can see, I'm actually going to bring it up a little bit closer and see if I can get, yep, there we go. And if you guys can see those little tiny rings right there, that's how you kind of know quinoa is done. And you can just fluff it with a fork right out of the bag, and definitely save this for later. Let's uncover this right here, see what we're working with. So as you can see, it's cooking down really nicely. And if you can see, I'm going to try to find one that So what I really like about sauteing the vegetables instead of putting them in the oven to bake is that it gets these little brown spots on them, and it gives it a really nice texture and also a little bit more flavor. As you can see right there, there's a little bit of brown showing right there. So next step, we're going to add a little bit of spices. So the first one, this is all 1/4 of a teaspoon of each of them. We have pepper, salt, and paprika. So we're just going to sprinkle that in. And then for the other spices, we have, we're using 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. We're using some chili powder, and then we're also using some cumin. So all of this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So again, if you want it to be a little bit more spicy, or if you want it to be have a little bit more of that salty flavor or salty or pepper flavor, you can definitely add different amounts of the spices that we have right here. I'm just going to turn everything over, get that all incorporated, and then I'm going to cover it back up with the other pan. Okay, this is all done, and a good way to test out if the vegetables are done, if you have onion in there, you can kind of see the onions almost clear colored on that inside part of it. You can also see there's a lot more brown spots on the peppers, as you can see right there. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, so I took off the vegetables, and those took about less than 5 minutes to make and to cook down. So next is the shrimp, and this is uncooked. It has no more tails on it, so that's going to be an easier step at the end. But we're just going to cook this down with the spices that are already in there and already cooked. So I'm just going to add this in. So as you can see, that's already steaming really, really well. I may spray it down again with a little bit more cooking oil if they start to stick, but that is about it, and they should take really less than probably 5 to 10 minutes to actually cook down. So it looks like the shrimp is pretty much almost done, and a good way to tell if it is done is that one, you can see that all the shrimp are really, really curled up, and then also you can see that it's no longer clear, it's pretty much opaque, and it has a little bit of pink with it. You can't really see that too much with the seasonings in there. I'm going to turn it off. If you guys remember from the other shrimp, definitely is more white, a little bit clearer, so it's a big difference right now from the uncooked. We are almost done, you guys. We just have the plating portion left. So we have our cooked vegetables, we have the quinoa, and then also the shrimp. And I am going to use an avocado and then lime and a little bit of cilantro as well to add a little more flavor, add a little more color to the toppings. So we start out, I always suggest having the vegetables as a base, and kind of the reason why I actually picked the vegetables, one, it's non-starchy vegetable, which means that it doesn't have as much carbohydrates and it has a lot more fiber per calorie as compared to something like a potato or something like that. So definitely low calorie, high fiber, which means it's perfect for weight loss. It's also just great for nutrients as well. Any kind of peppers, like these bell peppers, and majority of vegetables have vitamin A. As you can see in this, we have beta carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A, and you can see that from that yellow coloring. So if you think of like carrots, that's one that really is high in vitamin A because it has all those colors in it. So with beta carotene, it's actually an antioxidant, so it's really important for fighting off all the bad things in your body. And it's also important for immune function, so it's really important right now. It also has vitamin C in it, which is, again, very important for immune function. And it's really just good for you in general. It has a lot of vitamins and minerals and everything like that. So for weight loss, I always recommend having non-starchy vegetables as the base. Or if you're having, you know, something that is a dinner that doesn't really have a composition that goes together, then you can do half of your plate vegetables. The reason why I recommend that, again, is because it's lower in calorie, higher in fiber, keeps you fuller longer. The next up is quinoa, and I don't always measure this out. I usually eyeball it, but I would recommend a half a cup. So for a half a cup of this, and it may seem like really small, a half a cup, doesn't seem like a lot, but that's not even that's about a half a cup right there. I'm going to put this on top. As you can see, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot of quinoa. And then the last, I'm just going to take about half of this. It's a little bit easier to portion out something like chicken or beef because it's one single piece of meat. However, I'm just going to take half. That looks like about 4-ish ounces, 4 or 5 maybe. And then I'm going to cut up the avocado and then slice off a piece of the lime. I think avocado is one of my favorite sources of healthy fats. It definitely has a nice flavor to it. It goes well with a lot of foods. And it just has a nice texture as well. So I'm going to take almost half of it and place that on top. I might make that look a little bit nicer later on. And then I'm cutting off just a little bit of that lime. I'm going to squeeze it on top. And put it off to the side. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the cilantro and add it to the top. And then there you have it. Okay everyone, that is all. Thank you for watching the first ever JCC STL cooking demo with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this dish. Let me know in the comments if you guys like it, or you can let me know at the J if you're there too and see me. But if you guys have any suggestions for types of dishes or things that you guys would like me to do as cooking demo, just let me know. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy a happy and healthy life. Thanks everyone. Till next time. Bye.